I mean, to the Democrats. Y'all ain't got nobody? Nobody? Nobody?
What's up, guys? It's your boy, Benny. There's been a lot of redemption arcs happening recently. A lot of people have become newly based as they realize what a cancer wokeism is, and wokeism has destroyed some of our favorite brands. Some of those brands have been like the NBA and the NFL and ESPN. I didn't mind sports. I played sports growing up. Ain't no problem watching football. Those used to be my heroes. Now I cannot stand watching football. I would never dare give $1 of my hard-earned money to the woke NFL. And ESPN just announced that they're going to lay off like 5,000 staffers. And so I am cheering on, very much like Bud Light going bankrupt, the people who make horrible business decisions to mix politics with the brands that we love. Just make action movies that are great, Hollywood. Just make beer, Bud Light. Just make Disney, kids films, Disney. And respect the lore of Lord of the Rings or Star Wars or Indiana Jones. I can go on and on and on. It's always the same thing. And so that's why we got to call balls and strikes on this show. There are some people who we deeply disagree with who have like been part of this woke racket who are like starting to see the light, and it's been remarkable. Check this out. Stephen A. Smith, this was not in my bingo card for 2023, that I would be doing a entire video researching how much I like Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith was a race hustler, maybe still is. I'm not sure. I don't watch ESPN, and I watch a lot of his stuff. But I do see these clips come across my feed, and it's incumbent upon me. It's my responsibility to give to you the news about the world around you. And you got to know that this guy has some pretty hot fire, red-pilled takes here, dude. So Stephen A. Smith has come out and said he is not in favor of Joe Biden or his presidency, that he hates Joe Biden's presidency. And that makes a lot of sense because, well, everybody he knows at ABC and ESPN have all been fired. Stephen A. Smith has now gone full flames on against Hunter Biden as a crackhead, as a cokehead, and as somebody who got preferential treatment when hundreds of thousands or millions of young black men did not, based on the laws that were passed by Hunter Biden's dear old pop, Mr. 10%. Stephen A. Smith going absolutely thermonuclear based, like this is a rant that could have happened on my show, to his left-wing sports audience. Yo, get it. Listen.
Son of President Joe Biden, who was a former crack addict. Let's just call it what it is. Yes, he was on crack. I said it that way about Lamar Odom. I can say it that way about the son of the President of the United States. He was on crack. They recently found cocaine in the White House, by the way. No evidence that it was his. Although in all the years I've been alive, I've not heard of cocaine being in the White House. This is the first time. But who's casting guilt? We don't know. We don't know. Anyway.
So Stephen A. Smith not only going hard against the Biden regime, their empire of corruption, also saying we just need a new president. Straight up. ESPN's Stephen A. Smith says Joe Biden should not be reelected in 2024. We need a new president. Goodness gracious. I don't believe somebody in their 80s should be running the country. Okay, well, yeah, it's good. That's a good photo. What are those? What are those? What are those, though? Stephen A. Smith does sports reporting. Maybe he can answer. Those look like horseshoes. ESPN personality Stephen A. Smith is calling on Democrats to present a better candidate in the 2024 election. He was talking about the fall at the Air Force Academy commencement ceremony. This stuff is absolutely bananas. I'll say it. I know it'll make people mad. We need a different president. Check it out.
It's just my personal opinion. Somebody's got to say it, so I'm going to say it. We need a new president in 2024. When we saw what we saw the other day, handing out diplomas to graduates at the Air Force Academy in Colorado, and we saw him fall, it happens. It's not the end of the world. It's not evidence that he's just not all there.
Yes, it is.
But he is 80. There does come a point in time where there are certain jobs you don't need. It's not that you don't need to be working. It's not that you don't need to be living your life. It's not that you don't need to be living a very vibrant lifestyle or anything like that. But there are responsibilities that are far, far, far more extensive than, let's say, the typical 9 to 5 that somebody in their 80s may not need to be doing. I think the presidency is one of them. I do.
Well, baby, you got some absolute hot fire there. I can't imagine that made him very popular around the water cooler at ESPN. But Stephen A. Smith, when invited to go on stage and explain himself and his ideas about Donald Trump and Joe Biden, Stephen A. Smith actually ends up defending Donald Trump inside of a liberal forum, which is wild.
Yeah, you used to talk to him. You ever talk to him anymore?
No, I don't. I knew Trump before he ran for the presidency. I thoroughly enjoyed talking to him. He was a huge sports fan. He used to throw a lot of events at his casinos and stuff like that. And I genuinely liked him. I didn't know who this guy was running for president. I think he's changed, but I will tell you this. I think when people call him racist and stuff like that, I've never thought of Trump that way. He's not against black people. He's against all things not named Trump. There's a difference.
I mean, listen.
Well, okay, I think that's an important difference. Yeah, okay, the guy's out for himself. The guy's a big ego. Fine. Take it for what it is. But this guy's Don King's best friend, Donald Trump, is one of the greatest promoters of sports and people of all champions. And, of course, they are going to call him racist. Go ahead and check out the economy and the unemployment levels for black Americans under Donald Trump's economy and tell me if that sounds racist. When welcomed onto news shows, especially leftist news shows, Stephen A. Smith has gone out of his way to defend Trump, especially against Joe Biden's and the attacks from the left. Check this out. A shocking clip from Chris Cuomo's recent show on News Nation.
Popular of a candidate, at least before the primaries in South Carolina. Up until that point, he wasn't even in the game as far as a lot of people were concerned. And so because of that, when you look at it from that perspective, Chris, what it comes down to is you're going to have people sitting up there on his side and saying they can't beat him legitimately, and it's going to add it's going to add momentum to his argument that they're exhausting themselves with doing everything they can to prevent him from being the Republican nominee because they can't beat him. Yeah. That's what they're going to say.
Well, that's his case.
So this is Joe Biden going after and trying to put Donald Trump in jail because he can't beat him, and Stephen A. Smith straight up calling him that. Straight up calling a ball and strike to be like, yo, they can't beat him, so they're going to try and put him in jail. Boy, we know what that's like. Hot Joe Biden ended up putting hundreds of thousands of young black men in jail for the crimes of his son. His son's on camera, smoking crack rocks the size of Mount Everest. But Joe Biden is sitting there throwing every single person plus corn pop in prison. Remember, Joe Biden tried to fight corn pop because he had too much pomade in his hair on a diving board, and Joe Biden said he got razors and chains to go apparently kill corn pop out in a parking lot. My goodness. I bet corn pop voted Democrat. Nonetheless, paper ballots, though. Paper ballots, ladies and gentlemen. What is the final straw that makes us think that Stephen A. Smith is low-key base now? Well, he is going on Fox News regularly, chirping off, talking to Fox News hosts about his thoughts on the sports world and how Elon Musk may kick Mark Zuckerberg's ass in a fight. Check this out.
Before we go, let's stay on the note of sports. Who wins in the fight? You have analyzed fights, Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg?
Man, that's a tough one. Elon Musk just looks like a weird individual. He's just different. I mean, he's a big dude, though. He's considerably bigger than Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg's a small guy, but they say he's been studying Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And in the case of Elon Musk, all he said is that I'm just going to be a big body. I'm going to lay on him and maneuver the move called the walrus, where I just lay on him and do nothing. If I got to bet on one or the other, I would bet on the jiu-jitsu artist. But Elon Musk is a big dude, and if he falls on Mark Zuckerberg, I mean, who knows? I don't know. I'll go with Zuckerberg. I'll go with the underdog. I'll go with Zuckerberg.
We have the tail to take.
Okay, all right. I don't know, man. Is this a redemption arc for Stephen A. Smith? Or is he like, you can't, here's the problem, is that like when you're in the camp of the woke, you are completely committed. They don't allow ideological deviation. And so just the fact that Stephen A. Smith can ask questions about Joe Biden's age, mental acuity, saying that he's putting Trump in jail, for political purposes. The idea saying that Trump isn't racist, being able to ask those questions and then going after Joe Biden and his son and the dual departments of justice in this country, dude, that alone lets you know that there's a red pill, white pill happening right here, and it's pretty special. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Benny, and communism with us by liking, sharing, and subscribing. See ya.